The black dress hanging in our Manchester flat felt like a widow's veil, a lie stitched into every thread, whispering of a funeral that never existed and a betrayal that would unravel my world. I stood in our cluttered living room, the gray Manchester drizzle tapping against the window, staring at the dress my wife Eleanor had laid out for a funeral she claimed was today. With her sharp wit and warm northern accent, had been my rock for a decade. Thomas Hargreaves, a lorry driver turned pub landlord, and we'd built a life together. Me running the Red Lion, her managing the books with a cuppa always at hand. Morning, she'd kissed me goodbye, teary-eyed, saying she was off to Bury for her Aunt Margaret's funeral. The problem? Aunt Margaret had passed 5 years ago, and Eleanor's only living aunt, Doris, was hale and hearty in Blackpool. Something gnawed at me. I rang Doris to offer condolences, only to hear her cackle down the line, "Funeral? I'm just back from bingo, lad." My stomach churned. I checked Eleanor's phone while she was out, unlocked, a rare slip, and found texts to a Simon about meeting at a hotel in Altrincham. The pieces clicked. The late nights, balancing accounts, the perfume I didn't buy, the secretive calls. I grabbed my coat, the damp air hitting me as I drove to the hotel, heart pounding like a drum at a ceilidh. I spotted our car in the car park, and through the hotel window, there she was, Eleanor, laughing with Simon, a slick estate agent she'd met at a property viewing. They were sharing a pint, her hand on his arm, a sight that stabbed me deeper than any lie. I recorded it, my hands shaking, then marched in. "Eleanor Hargreaves, care to explain this funeral?" I demanded, my voice cutting through the pub chatter. She froze, her face draining of color, Simon stammering excuses. She admitted it. A fabricated funeral to cover a weekend with him, a fling sparked by loneliness and his flattery. Back home, the silence was deafening. I moved to the spare room, the divorce papers looming. Eleanor pleaded, tears streaming, saying she'd lost herself in the monotony of our life. I was furious, hurt, but also saw the woman who'd once danced with me at our wedding. Days turned to weeks, and I wrestled with letting go or fighting for us. One rainy evening, I found her old sketchbook, drawings of us, of Mia, our imaginary daughter we'd never had, proof of a love that once was. Perfect and emotional touch. Soft glow of a Manchester street lamp. Weeks later, I met Eleanor at the canal towpath where we'd first kissed. The rain had stopped, leaving a misty hush, and her eyes held a vulnerability I hadn't seen in years. "I've ended it with Simon," she whispered, her voice breaking. "I want to fight for us, Tom." I looked at her, the weight of her lie still heavy, but the sketchbook's memories tugged at my heart. I didn't forgive her then, but I took her hand, agreeing to try therapy, for the love we'd lost and the future we might reclaim. As the canal reflected the fading light, I felt a fragile hope, a chance to rebuild from the ashes of a lie, knowing love, like Manchester's weather, could shift but endure.